Then will the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they will be troubled with terrible fear, and will be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for.
Once again, off the coast of Southern California, which for some reason, has been this very, very weird hotspot for all kinds of unidentified flying objects that don't seem to care that there are all kinds of Navy warships that are out there training. Now, quick refresh about why this area matters so much. 2004, we've all seen this video that was showing what was described by Navy pilots flying off the USS Nimitz as a white TIC that was zooming around in ways and speeds they just could not explain. In 2019, sailors on the USS Russell, again, off the coast of San Diego, seeing what they described in night vision goggles as upside down pyramids, and then brings us to today. This new infrared video just released by documentary filmmaker Jeremy Corbell showing what he says was an incident on the USS Jackson. It's one of these littoral ships, one of the highest tech ships that we have in our arsenal. And according to Corbell, Navy sailors were actively tracking one of 4 unknown objects observed going in and out of the water. No heat plumes, no exhaust, nothing.
And as a ship that passes over the waves of the water, that when it is gone by, the trace thereof cannot be found.
Navy sailors were actively tracking one of 4 unknown objects observed going in and out of the water. No heat plumes, no exhaust, nothing. And here is how one of the witnesses on board the ship described it.
I go out to the bridge wing. I'm noticing things and lights on the horizon, and like city lights or any other ships that are out there. So seeing a light that is lifting up, you can see it. I know the difference between a light on the horizon coming up and a light coming out of the water. When you've been on the water more in your life than you haven't been, you know the difference.
Now let's get into it with Jeremy Corbell, one of the hosts of Weaponize, the podcast. Welcome back with Jeremy. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm so glad you talked to that sailor there, because it gives us so much more context. Like the videos, they're very important, and yet they don't show that much. So real fast, walk us through what this video shows, because if you look very closely, it looks like the targeting is trying to lock in, right?
That's right. So George Knapp and I, with our journalism, we always try to, if we obtain military filmed footage of UAP or UFOs, which this is, we try to get direct witness testimony to go with that. And in fact, these are senior ranking Navy officials. You know, they don't want to go by their full identity at this time, but they will at some point. They're in the Combat Information Center. They get this footage. It's FLIR, forward-looking infrared. So it's black and white. What you're supposed to be seeing, we don't see. We don't see tails. We don't see thermal plumes. We don't see any signature of a normal aircraft. So that's what makes this case fascinating. We have both witnesses coming forward as well as the hardcore data and evidence.
And does that mean black is hot there? Or what's the thermal imaging and like, why do we see that tic-tac shape?
Sure. Yeah, so this is in black hot. It can switch between the two. But what's really important about this is that the high-ranking Navy official said, we saw one of these come up out of the water. We then went to radar, and we saw 4 of them. We then took our thermal cameras, and we looked at one. And when you look at a plane, it looks like a plane. This doesn't look like a plane. In fact, it looks like the Tic Tac from 2004, where Commander David Fravor chased a UFO for the United States military. So look, it's tracked on radar, it's tracked on FLIR. We're lucky to have some of this footage that you're able to see now. But what you're not seeing, Gotti, is you're not seeing the typical signatures you'd see on an aircraft. This is a very unique propulsion system, it appears, from this footage. And again, people have come forward and risked to bring this footage to me and George Knapp. And as journalists, we have a duty to put it out after investigating it. I'm glad that it's out now.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're putting it out too. And again, you know, we are lucky to see those images, but what happens all the way before that is what's really important. And I mean, if you get a chance, go back and listen to what Commander Fravor said about what happened back in 2004. Opened your eyes. But Jeremy, I know you've been pushing for government disclosure on all this like harder than anybody else I know. This administration seemed to suggest that they were going to get to the bottom of it, and yet, like, so far, we are pretty well into this. Why aren't we seeing like more tangible evidence from people that aren't just coming forward scared to lose their jobs and scared to lose their livelihoods? Like, why don't you think we're seeing like the government say, this is what's going on?
Yeah, well, that's changing. Easy way or hard way. As you know from the last hearing, when I brought the Immaculate Constellation information to Congress, we learned that there are thousands of high-quality videos that the public has not seen of UFOs. The dam is breaking. People are coming forward. And George Knapp and I have already recorded with some of these whistleblowers. So we know that footage is coming out, those interviews. So I think it's just a matter of time that we're going to get more information on this. Look, it's a long haul thing. UFOs have been taboo for so long. It's now admitted that they're flying with impunity within our restricted airspace. And we have footage like this. Military filmed UAP from a Navy warship in a critical area just off the coast of California. It's going to take time, but you got to be optimistic. You got to keep fighting, easy way or hard way. And this is going to come out.
Yeah, I can't wait to know what is going off the coast of California here. I mean, this is a very weird hotspot.
All praises be to the Heavenly Father in the name of his only begotten Son and the Holy Spirit. Call Holayim La Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Wawa HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. And shalom to the believers that subscribe and listen to this truth wholeheartedly through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Alright, so this is an article from thesun.com. Alright, concerning the clip that we just saw from the news report. And this is concerning the U.S. Navy warship, all right, which encountered the tic-tac shaped chariots, right? It says close encounter, chilling new UFO footage shows U.S. warship facing off with tic-tac aircraft as 4 mysterious objects menace destroyer. It says watch the jaw-dropping footage of the latest UFO sighting in the video player, right? Which that was the footage that you just previously saw. I'm not going to play it because it doesn't show clear on this site. But nevertheless, this is where I first got word of this, what you would basically call breaking news, but of course we know about these chariots. All right, we know what they call UFOs or UAPs to be the chariots of the Most High. All right, the vehicles of our salvation. And of course, as Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter states, they are amazed at the strangeness of our salvations as these tic-tac shaped, right, which they call in tic-tac shape. I'm gonna scroll down to it so you can see. Right, and supposedly this is the warship that had the encounter back in 2023 with these so-called UFOs. It says footage of the objects was spotted on the USS Jackson in February 2023, right, which is a U.S. Navy warship you see here. And this is what they're calling a tic-tac shaped UFO. Okay, which in the scriptures can be identified as a flying roll. All right, so let's get that. It's the prophet, I believe it was the prophet Ezekiel. Okay, no, Salaki is the prophet Zechariah. All right, and this is Zechariah 5:1. And It says, then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, and the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Right? Now this flying roll is what they today call UFOs or UAPs. All right, but in the scriptures they're described, of course, as the chariots of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, this is Psalms 68:17. It says, the chariots of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai are 20,000, even thousands of angels. Yeah, because this is how the angels travel. All right, they travel in the so-called UFOs that these people are terrified of today, that they have no answer for, that they have absolutely no defense for. They're incapable of tracking their whereabouts. They're unable to keep up with their speeds and their aerial maneuvers. Okay, and these ships can actually change shapes. They can go in and out of the waters, right? And this is what the Navy warships have been witnessing. All right, so the Lord, the Heavenly Father, and the Son, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, are toying with these Edomites, okay, and showing them that their measly military weaponry and vehicles don't have a chance, don't stand a chance in a war against Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, and that's what you saw in the footage, you know, as these these people are in a frenzy, for lack of better words. They all in awe at the great power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, as they call them, aliens and unidentified. Well, we know what they are. All right, we understand about our salvation. Okay, and when you keep going into Psalm 68, it says, thou, I'm gonna read down, right? It says, thou hast ascended on high, thou hast led captivity captive, thou hast received gifts for men, yea, for the rebellious also, that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai might dwell among them. Blessed be the Lord who daily loaded us with benefits. All right, and these chariots are for our benefit. The ultimate benefit is salvation. It says, even the power, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, of our salvation. Salah. Okay. Yep. So you see it, man. These people are bugged out of their mind as they see these these vessels, all right, these vehicles of the heavens appear before them, maneuvering, shape-shifting, going in and out of the waters. All right, so it says UFO sighting. 2 tic-tac-toe UFOs have been captured on a U.S. naval camera emerging from the ocean by stunned sailors from February 2023. All right, and it's off the coast of LA. All right, you should have a lot of naval ships in that region. It says new bombshell footage shows the unbelievable moment 2 of the UFOs burst from the ocean during the February 2023 incident. Their shape resembles a 2004 sighting of a tic-tac shaped UFO in the same waters, and the incident investigated by a top secret government program. One of them stunned sailors told News 8, now all we witnessed was all 4 of them, all in synchronous jetting into the abyss, right? All 4, all timed together and all left, and we were like holy shh. All right, expletive, right? Which he said holy shit. All right, which it is holy. Okay, it is holy power that you're witnessing. It says the second they left, maybe 3-4 seconds pass, I run to my station and I look at my radar. They're all off radar. That's it. They all zoomed off, but it's clear that they're in communication with one another and synchronized like 3, 2, 1 countdown. Let's all go. I think unless there's some level of like one entity controlling all four, and then they all leave at the same time. And former Defense Department analyst Marique von Rennekamp added fuel to the UFO fire after analyzing flight data from the exact time and location of the sighting, concluding there were no U.S. aircraft in the area, right? He said, I don't think it's ours. I suspect there are better places for us to showcase that kind of equipment to unwitting sailors. That just doesn't make sense. All right. Yep. It said, it added, it had no wings. So you think, okay, it's a helicopter, but there's no rotor washed in the water. There's no rotors, and when helicopters move from side to side, they're kind of slow, then pick up speed going the other way. This was extremely abrupt, like a ping pong ball bouncing off a wall. It would hit and go the other way and exchange directions at will. Then the ability to hover over the water, then start a vertical climb from 0 up to 12,000 feet and then accelerate in less than 2 seconds and disappear in something that I've never seen. And it's something that I've never seen in my life. Yeah, the strangeness of our salvation. All right. And this is just a glimpse of the power that the Lord is going to demonstrate when he comes to judge the ungodly and the wicked on the planet Earth, man. He's just giving them a sneak peek, like a trailer of a you know, a highly anticipated Marvel action movie. All right. Well, you can't wait for the movie to drop. You know, you see all the high flying, the stunts. You know, the Lord is he's putting on a show, man. All right. When asked about those who may be skeptical of the claim, he replied, "It's easy to doubt what we can't explain, and this isn't the first account of people seeing a UFO." And there's the picture again, and I'll probably make that the thumbnail. All right. It says the first famous sighting with footage took place off the San Diego coast in 2004 after pilots on the USS Nimitz carrier strike group detected the object. It says Commander David Fravor believed it to be something beyond human technology, and it possessed extreme acceleration and no visible propulsion. Right, because they don't move like these these fighter jets and these military jets and airplanes and helicopters move. They're not operated by jet fuel and so forth and so on, man. Okay, this is divine power. This is heavenly power that they're witnessing. Okay. And it says then in 2015, pilots on the USS Roosevelt off the East Coast captured footage of an unidentified moving object. They also showed no means of propulsion and moved at high speeds. Speculation online has caused alien fanatics to look for more tic-tac shaped space paraphernalia, including a Russian military base which appeared to be a tic-tac UFO charging hub. Yeah, they trying to count this to Russian technology. You know, they trying to give accredit this to Russian technology. This is far beyond human capabilities, even the Russians, you know, which even when you see them doing stuff like this, it's an indicator that they know that the Russian military capabilities, all right, are far more advanced than theirs, you know. So they really giving themselves away. They're exposing their weakness. Okay, but this is Yahweh Shimi Shai exposing them ultimately. It says the Pentagon has also acknowledged other declassified videos of encounters, but have not been able to explain them. In this situation, you're talking about 4 people, all eyeballs on, ranging in experience from relatively new in fleet squadron to myself, who had over 16 years of flying, and a fellow F-18 pilot, Lieutenant Chad Underwood, flew out and caught the object on video, which was published by the New York Times in 2017. All right. It says this sparked a mixture of uproar and intrigue on how much the government knows of UFOs. Yeah, which they've been trying to hide it for the longest. But in today's age, everybody has camera phones, and in today's time, you know, with everything going on, these people are in great fear of what this means concerning their judgment, you know. So they want answers. Nobody's trying to hide these experiences and these sightings anymore. They want answers. Let's see. It was another part which I'll leave it at that. Okay. Yeah, so that's it, man. You know, and the Lord, you know, he's proven to us day after day that he's on the way. All right. This is the time where he will begin to visit the earth. Okay. We in that time. And these signs are ultimately encouragement, faith boosters, you know, for us to continue in the faith and hold on. As the Lord said this. And I'll end here. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. You know, and these people, that's what you would also consider, you know, their reaction to these chariots, a wail, right? We're gonna look at this word wail real quick. It says a prolonged, high-pitched cry of pain, grief, or anger. All right. Scream, yelp, bellow, roar. All right. Remember in the article it spoke about it being an uproar. You know. So, you know, when they see these things, this is the type of reaction. You know, when they see these chariots, this is the type of reaction that they're getting. Okay. That they're giving anyway, a wail. All right. It says, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. Right? I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, said the Lord Yahweh Bashimi Hawashai, which is and which was and which is to come, the Almighty. You know? And that day is vastly approaching. You know, every day, every hour, every minute, every second, the Lord is drawing nigh. All right, with our salvation vehicles, which they call UFOs. All right, so Lord will you edify. Till next time, say Shalom. Kwam Yasharallah, Abab, rise Israel, destroy confusion. Peace to the elect.